Good morning. This is today's episode of Woke Your Butt Up with Frida Future. It's been a while. I'm happy to be back. Today I want to talk about vulnerability. I want to talk about radical vulnerability. We've been conditioned to think that vulnerability is weakness and hardness, firmness, stoicism, that those things are our strength. In the face of so much fear and insecurity and fractured community in our world, it makes sense that we would rely upon the brawn of the individual in our current paradigm. But I think that a deeper expression of our humanness really thrives in vulnerability, in allowing ourselves to be completely honest and transparent, or at least softening into the truth of what's really so for us, and sharing it with the people that we love. For me, vulnerability recently has really come in the shape of just, a fight with my roommate, where I had to get really real about why I was so defensive. You know, we can have our personalities and our beingnesses. I'm like this, you're like that. We butt heads. Your fault, my fault. I'm wrong, you're wrong. It should have been like this. Or we can get really, really vulnerable in the muck of the messiness without making claims for who's right or who's wrong, and go, man, when you did this, it made me feel like I was a little kid and brought me back to these defensive postures and patterns, and that didn't work for me, and I want to be close to you, and what might work for me better would be like this. And then it gives the other person an opportunity to speak into that. I'm speaking into vulnerability because I feel really vulnerable. And it's helpful to me to remember that my vulnerability is a strength and not something that I'm losing. Because you're only getting more when you allow for more intimacy. Intimacy. And that is really only available in a vulnerable space. I really love intimacy. Intimacy as a source of strength, right? Of deep, energetically flowing relationships that you can depend upon, that are resilient in the face of conflict, right? These are the things that I think about in regards to vulnerability. I think that, that's it. I just pray for vulnerability for all of you. I pray for everybody getting their needs met and speaking honestly about what their needs and desires are, because our needs and desires are innocent, and we embrace erotic innocence, and we embrace the unfolding of our desires. Ram Dass says you can't rip the snake skin off the snake. Let's be done with our desires at the rate that we're done with our desires. So no artificial austerity, thinking you have to be a monk, or you have to be really strong and not desire things, or not have feelings when things don't work for you. Be done at your desires, at the rate you're done with your desires. Be vulnerable and feel your emotions until the emotions are felt through, and then you're alchemized and integrated, and we're ready to go to the other side. Thank you so much. It's good to be back. I love you. Have a good one.